All right, the time is now 7:30, so I'd like to get our regular meeting started. So this is the Cortez City Council regular meeting. Today is June 14th, 2022, and the time is now 7:30 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask you all to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll move on to the roll call, Linda.
Kiefhofer.
Here.
DeHaven.
Here.
Spruill.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Yazzie.
Here.
Dobry.
Here.
Medina.
Here. Thank you, Linda. So then I'll ask for the approval of the agenda. If any council members would like to make an amendment to the agenda or a motion to approve. Right?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, motion was made by council member Dobry and seconded by Kiefhofer.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhofer.
Aye.
Spruill.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, before we dive into the consent agenda, I would just like to make a statement to the public and to my fellow council members as the mayor. Okay. As your mayor, I would like to make a statement in regards to a previously scheduled June 22nd drag show hosted by the Cortez Public Library in celebration of Pride Month. Unfortunately, there was a chain of events which led to the dissolution of this event. Although an intimidation attempt did occur, that event was not the only compelling factor that resulted in the cancellation, but more a combination of logistics and timing as well. In the end, the city does not back down, though, to threats or intimidation, and I call upon all Cortez residents to join us in condemning this type of behavior. As mayor, I strive for Cortez to be more inclusive and safe community for all people, wherein we celebrate our differences and support one another. I apologize, I'm a little nervous. I recognize that the KSJD news story and information online has likely caused undue stress upon our LGBTQ2S+ community. I apologize for the miscommunications that have led to this situation, and I assure you that we will do better in the future. Whether or not we host, sponsor, or otherwise participate in a similar future event, I want to assure you that this type of event falls within the mission of both the city and the library. I have read the outpouring of emails in support of using taxpayer funds for this type of event and appreciate the willingness of people to share their opinions with us. One of our city strengths is its diversity, and the city supports a variety of viewpoints and events that reflect this. We support our veterans, we support our Native American and Latino communities, we support our agricultural heritage, we support our long-term and our new residents. We are all Cortesians together. Our diversity is what makes us strong and vibrant. Thank you. Okay. All right, with that, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. We are on item number 2 on the regular agenda. The listing under consent agenda is a group of items to be acted on with a single motion and vote. This agenda is designated to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by City Council. Either the public or a council member may request that an item may be removed from the consent agenda at any time prior to council's vote. We've already approved the agenda, so I'll move on to 2A, approval of the work session and regular meeting minutes of May 24th, 2022. B, approval of the expenditure list for June 14th, 2022 City Council meeting. C, approval of the modification of premises for Chronic Therapy Cortez LLC located at 1020 South Broadway, Cortez, to allow for a walk-up window on the premises. D, approval of a renewal application on a retail marijuana store license application for Durango Organics LLP, DBA Durango Organics, located at 1013 East Main Street, Cortez. E, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for La Casita de Cortez, LLC, DBA La Casita de Cortez, located at 332 East Main Street, Cortez. F, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for Rosita Inc., DBA Tequilas, located at 1740 East Main Street, Cortez. G, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for Cashman LLC, DBA Lots of Pasta and That's a Pizza, located at 439 East Main Street, Cortez. H, approval of a renewal tavern liquor license for A&S LLC, DBA Angels End Zone, located at 309 North Broadway, Cortez. I, approval of a special events permit to the Southwest Colorado Canyons Alliance to host an event on Friday, July 8th, 2022, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Turquoise Raven Art Gallery, located at 104 East Main Street, Cortez. And finally, J, approval of a change of incorporation structure and transfer of ownership for Ty Cortez LLC, located at 1430 East Main Street, Suites 1 through 4, Cortez. Motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by Yazzie. Linda?
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Spruill.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. Okay, we're going to move on to 3, public participation. There's no limit to the number of speakers, although public comment will be held to an overall time limit, normally of 30 minutes, but I see we have a full room, so I'm going to administratively expand that to 45 minutes to hopefully include most comments in our first session. Thank you, Donna. All right, speakers have a limit of 3 minutes per person, may only speak once, and may not cede the time to another commenter. And we have a reference to rules below in the agenda if you have a copy. But the time is 7:38, say 7:40, so 45 minutes from there is 8:25? Okay. Some quick math? Okay. All right, so we'll start with our first commenter. And remember, if you do want to make a comment, please fill out the comment cards. But we'll start with Susie Meyer. So please go to the mic, make sure it's on, and then state your name and address to start your comment.
You'll need to push the button at the base of the mic
To make sure
until
it's
it's
green.
green. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Susie Meyer. I live at 144 South Market. My husband and I have lived in Cortez since 1985, and we've raised our children here, we've worked here, we have volunteered here, we've shopped here. And I've served as a member of the Library Advisory Board for 20 years off and on, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak. I applaud the council's commitment to all of its constituents, and I support Isabella and the library staff in their determination to serve members of the community who may not be in the majority. And I especially applaud your and her determination to do that, even in the face of opposition. Cortez risks becoming a place where ideas are defeated not by better ideas, but by those who have the loudest voices and too often the least civil and least productive messages. No body, not this council, not the library board, not any agency, should have to base his decisions on who can do the most harm. And I'm appalled that threats of violence have been brought to bear on Pride Month. So I hope that in the future we will be able to address our differences with well-intentioned listening and productive dialogue that affords respect to all members of our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next commenter, Ryan Warren. please start by stating name and address, and make sure the mic is still on green.
Am I on? Yep. Okay. I'm Ryan Warren. I live at 208 Sligo Street here in Cortez. And I spent a couple of weeks putting together a petition for the rec center to return to its original business hours so that we would have more hours of opportunity to utilize the place. The majority of the people that I had signed this, I have just under 300 signatures, and the majority of them are all out of the weight room. I did, however, get a few signatures. I work for the post office, and while I'm out there, there's a few people that I come across every day. I talk to them, and whether they're people that currently have membership or don't have membership and want it, we all want the same thing. We want the hours that the rec center was originally open for up until I think it was 9 or 10 p.m. to come back. Right now, it being open until 7, for those of us that work from 8 to 5, it's not a fair window of opportunity to use a place that we're all paying taxes for. And I'll tell you that I learned something doing this petition, and it was pretty interesting because I remember being maybe 7 or 8 years old whenever whispers of a rec center were first uttered. And 10 years later, the rec center finally opened. It took a lot of passion from this community to get that place to open, and I will tell you firsthand from talking to the little bit of people that I did inside the rec center and out, that passion is still there 28 years later. And that is really, really awesome. You know, for me personally, working with the post office, I don't know what time I'm going to get off. It basically depends on just how much people are sitting at home shopping on Amazon. All right? And there's times that I get off at 4, there's times I get off at 5, there are times that I get off at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And whenever you're paying for a membership and you want to get in there and use it day after day after day, but you can't, that's not fair. And besides that, what I actually think is more important than my own personal perspective, which is actually
30
echoed,
seconds.
is the fact that when tourists come into this town and they ask, what is there to do in this town? They're told 2 things, rec center, Mesa Verde. And it's a joke for them to go into that rec center and be told, oh, you can't swim right now. We don't have enough employees. They've got to get more employees going there. They've got to get the hours back to the original hours. They need that rec center fully operational again. And I will leave it at that. And if I could give you this.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you. So I can share this later with Parks. Okay. All right, next commenter, Chris Abrams. And please go to the mic and start with your name and address.
Thank you. My name is Chris Abrams, and in these times, I'd like you to consider alternatives to having people having to publicly state their address when minorities are being targeted with violence. So I do live in Montezuma County. I want to thank you for your courage in articulating the values of the city of Cortez in the face of harassment and intimidation. And I also want to thank you for accountability in terms of maybe not the best communication on this issue. I do think we need transparency as to what actually happened. I'd love to know more about what actually happened to the library. I did actually, so I am a licensed psychotherapist, and I'm speaking from that place. I don't know if any of you know, the Trevor Project is an LGBTQ+++ advocacy and mental health organization, national. And last month they published their latest survey of LGBTQ youth mental health well-being, and they found out that nearly half of all LGBTQ youth seriously considered suicide in the last year, nearly half. And as a therapist, I know why people are driven to suicide. And it's low self-worth, it's low self-esteem, it's low acceptance, it's feeling like we don't belong. And so when a public institution, a government-funded institution says, yes, you matter, yes, you belong, and we're gonna host an event to show that to you, it matters. It makes a really big difference. And when it's shut down, because at least in part of threats of violence, I do understand, I did call the library director, I had a one-on-one conversation. I don't believe in just assuming that everyone's an enemy, right? I do understand that part of the reason why it was shut down was because they had so much interest in the event that it was twice as many people were trying to get tickets as they had. That's great, but if you're a venue and you get twice as much interest as you have, then you just add a night. You don't shut it down, right? So the message this sends to the LGBTQ community, whether it's intended or not, is that we're afraid to include you in our public spaces. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about alternatives to shutting it down.
30 seconds.
So alternatives that let's get creative. We're all on the same, well, maybe not everyone, but most of us, I think, are on the same team here. What could we do to communicate to the LGBTQ people in this area that they are included, that they are wanted, that they matter? Reinstate the event, have an extra night of it. There are so many American flags, and the American flag has been appropriated by a certain part of the political spectrum. Why not add a rainbow flag during Pride Month downtown? Why not add,
Thank you,
you're
Chris.
safe here? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next commenter, Raleigh Cato. Oh. All right, and start with name and address. Thank you.
My name is Raleigh Cato, and I'm also a citizen of Montezuma County, Cortez. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for the words that
And
you...
is the mic on? I just want to
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your words at the start of this meeting, and thank you all for considering this really important matter. I'm also here to speak in favor of community events, Cortez city events that honor and recognize every citizen. I also speak from a place of mental health and also urge council to recognize that although intentions are important, the messaging is what matters, and we, at this time in our lives, in this century, in this space, need to say more than ever to every individual, no matter how marginalized, you matter, loudly and proudly and clearly, and I appreciate your consideration to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next commenter, Karen Sheik. Name and address.
Good evening, Council. My name is Karen Sheik, and I reside here in Cortez in the Southern Bluff Subdivision. I'm here this evening to make two observations. The first is that I am so thankful that I live in a community with a wonderful library manned by a staff that works to be inclusive of all segments of our community, including those who are sometimes marginalized. Libraries provide resources to entertain, enlighten, expand our exposure to other cultures, and to offer a place where we can meet up with people who are different from us so that we can begin to understand one another and hopefully realize that we are not all that different. Programming that highlights diversity strengthens our community and makes this a richer place in which to live. Second, while I understand why a recent event scheduled at the library was canceled, I want to express my sadness and, frankly, my disappointment, and dare I say outrage, that a small group of people in this community can threaten violence, resulting in the cancellation of an event that many of us were looking forward to attending. If a program is not your cup of tea, don't attend. and arguing that taxpayer dollars should not be spent on such programming, well, those are my taxpayer dollars too. And I would argue that any expenditure that will foster respect and understanding for others in our community is an excellent use of such resources. So, council, I encourage you to please continue to support library programming that recognizes and promotes diversity, including Gay Pride Month. And for those who seek to block such programming, please consider what you might learn if you would open yourself up to new ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Our next commenter is Janet Huff. Okay, sorry. All right, name and address. Thank you.
I'm Janet Huff, and I'm a resident of Montezuma County. So I came here today to thank the City Council, Mayor, City Manager, the Library Director, and staff for the tireless work that they are doing in our community. Their attempts to plan events for Pride Month, and also an apology for how many of you have been treated because of your efforts. This is not the way the majority of our community feels. The minority is just loud and apparently needs to find a hobby. I, for one, applaud and appreciate your efforts. It is so important for LGBTQ youth and adults in our community to feel like they are seen, that they matter, and that they belong, not just during Pride Month, excuse me, but all year long. Studies have shown that just one accepting adult in their life can lower their risk of suicide by 40%. My second reason for wanting to speak is to call out the behaviors of a small group of individuals in our community. This has been an ongoing issue now for years. There are some in our community that demand freedom for themselves and consider themselves the most patriotic. At the same time, there are also the first ones that in their language, behaviors, and actions consistently attempt to deny others their rights to live the way they choose, take part in activities that they might enjoy, and in their right to protest if it runs counter to their beliefs. To those people, if there is an event, a club, a literature that you disagree with, I invite you to mind your own business. You have the freedom to make the decision that is right for you and your family, that is in line with your religious beliefs and values. That is your right. However, it is not your right to make this decision for a whole community of people and their children, or to force your beliefs on other people. In this country, we have freedom of religion as well as freedom from religion. Not everybody believes the same things that you do. And in a civil society, you are to respect others and their differences and not bully them and trying to get them to think the way that you do. Furthermore, the existence of LGBTQIA people, a month to celebrate them and literature for them, does not make any of you matter less just because the focus isn't on you. Every day is Straight Pride Day because you already have all the freedoms and the rights that others have had to fight for and still have to fight for to this day to retain them. When any group of people have been denied their civil rights and have fought hard to get them, there should be a celebration. Additionally, the adults that are acting this way is not a good example for their children. Bullying, intimidation, and threats of violence, it's not a good example. We live in a community together. We are already a diverse community. Just because some of you choose to cling to the past, to act in hostile, hateful, and low-bred ways, won't change that. We aren't going anywhere. You all need to find a way to live and let others live in peace, whether you agree with them or not. Just like your Bible says in Romans 12:18, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Full stop. There is an asterisk. It doesn't say except for liberals, LGBTQ+, atheists, and people I don't agree with. No. It says everyone. So if you're a Christian, prove it by your behavior.
Thank you, Janet. Okay, it still looks like we have plenty of time for public comment. Are there any other people who would like to speak? Okay, if not,
Mayor, we do have one more. Donna, if you could take that up to her, please.
thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, John Kennedy?
He's walking around back.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've been with the city since 2018. I want to say we're all created equal. respect, love, cherish, and honor those that are different. This is wrong, and it should not be tolerated. Thank you.
Thank you, John. All right, then we'll wrap up the public comment section. I do want to remind the public that we do have a second one at the end of the meeting in case anyone shows up later or you decide you want to make a public comment. I also just want to remind the public that a great way to communicate with City Council is, one, coming to our meetings and doing our public comment session, but also emailing us. Our emails are on the website. And that is a great way to communicate with us, your thoughts, feelings, concerns. And I kind of want to emphasize that Facebook is not the way to communicate with us, and that, yeah, so thank you. Okay. Okay, so we're moving on to 4 on the agenda, presentations. We have none, so we'll move on to 5 public hearings. Agenda item 5A is ordinance number 1301, series 2022. Presenter Mike Green, City Attorney.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. This is the second reading and public hearing for an ordinance approving a ground lease for a company, Classic Air, to build a hangar at the airport. It's required to have an ordinance because it's 40 years. It's more than just 2 or 3 years, and it's also a real estate transaction. I believe Classic Air and Jeremy was here at the last meeting and presented and gave you some information about what the hangar's using. I learned from Jeremy today that I believe Classic Air is on site with aircraft right now. And so staff is recommending that this lease be approved and that the ordinance be approved at second reading.
All right, do we have any questions from council? All right, open this up for public comment. Linda? Does the second and final reading require public comment? Okay. All right, so I'll open this up for public comment. Do we have any public comment specifically to this agenda item? All right, seeing none, I'll close the public comment section. And if there are no comments or discussion from council, do we have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve on second and final reading ordinance number 1301, series 2022, an ordinance approving a ground lease with Classic Air Medical for construction of an aircraft hangar at the Cortez Municipal Airport.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Yazzie and seconded by Kiefhofer. Linda?
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhofer,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, thank you. All right, we are moving on to item 5B, ordinance number 1302, series 2022, presented by Mike Green, Attorney.
Good evening again. This ordinance is to approve, and again, it's for a multiple period. It's for 25 years, so it's more than 3 years, so it requires an ordinance. It's for approval of the agreement between the county and the city for CCN to fiber optic system down towards the airport, County Road G in that area, to connect with the city system. 25 years was found out to be a better economic return on people's investments and to make the program more profitable and work. Staff has reviewed this and recommends approval.
All right, any discussion or questions? David? Okay. All right, so we'll open it up to public comment. Do we have anyone in the public who would like to speak on this particular agenda item? All right, seeing none, I'll close the public comment section. Do we have a motion?
Madam Mayor and Council, I move that we approve the second final reading of ordinance number 1301, series 2022, an ordinance approving a ground lease and Classic Air Medical for construction of an aircraft hangar at the Cortez Municipal Airport.
Oh, I think we're on,
Or 02.
1302, the one with the, community network.
Then I also move, I move the council can approve on second and final reading ordinance 1302, series 2022, an ordinance amending the term of agreement by and between the City of Cortez on Cortez Community Network Enterprise and Montezuma County.
Second.
All right, motion was made by Councilmember Rainey and seconded by Dobry. Linda?
Rainey.
Aye.
Spruill.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, so that's it for public hearings. We're moving on to item 6, unfinished business. We have none. So 7A, under new business, resolution number 19, series 2022, presented by Rachel Marchbanks, our economic development coordinator.
Greetings, Mayor and Council. 1 second while I get this up on the screen. And this is, does it just automatically go up?
Do we have Kyle here, or?
Rachel, stand by one,
Here he comes.
Okay.
yeah, the IT person just walked in.
IT to save the day.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay. All right, thank you for being here tonight. The first item is a review of an application for an amended plat for 2 parcels of land known as Lot 21 and 22 of the Resubdivision of Lot 19 Fairway View Estates, Phase 6, as submitted by Billy Sanchez, Inc., and review of Resolution 19, Series 2, 2022. The applicant, Billy Sanchez, Inc., is submitting an application for a plat amendment that will consolidate 2 existing lots into 1.6-acre lot for construction of 1 single-family dwelling. Billy Sanchez, Inc. is the owner of the 2 lots. Both parcels are currently vacant. The proposal meets the requirements of Section 6.09 of the Land Use Code number 9. The resulting lot will meet all requirements of the PUD zoning district. A request for review and comment was sent to each of the utility suppliers, affected districts and agencies. And you can see the comments below. The council can approve the amended plat boundary adjustment is one option. The council can deny the amended plat and state their reasons. The council can ask for more information and table the application, or the council can approve the amended plat and state any conditions they feel would be necessary to ensure compliance with the land use code. Staff recommends alternative 4 above, approval of the amended plat with 2 conditions. The 2 conditions are all requirements of utility providers, the city department, CDOT, and affected districts must be satisfied as outlined in the adopted city codes and other regulatory documents. And the other is the plat shall be recorded at the Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder's Office within 6 months of council approval in accordance with the Land Use Code Section 6.05 D2A. Any questions or anything?
Any questions from council? Okay. Is there, I guess my only question, and I don't know if we have Public Works here, but, oh, yeah, thanks, Brian. just combining two lots, say the driveway goes in the middle of that curve, is there any worry about line of sight? And if someone builds a driveway, do you usually have to approve it first?
One of the conditions is that they'll have to comply with things like driveway regulations with Public Works. So I don't know, Brian, if you want to add anything else to that.
Okay, I'm just curious.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended plot as submitted by owner Billy Sanchez, Inc. through Council Resolution Number 19, Series 2022, with the two recommended conditions.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by Rainey. Linda?
Kefauver.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Spruill.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to item 7B, resolution number 20, series 2022.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. The next item is the review of an application for a minor subdivision to be known as Leyline Townhome Subdivision, located on the east one half of lots 21 through 24, block 14 FR, Coffins, in addition to the town of Cortez, as submitted by, is it Jaime Campuzano, and review of resolution number 20, series 2022. The applicant, Jamie Campuzano, is submitting an application for a minor subdivision to divide an existing duplex into two separate ownerships. The duplex is located at 148 and 150 South Washington Street and zoned neighborhood business. Section 611A of the city's land use code allows a minor subdivision under the following circumstances as listed in the report. The applicant has provided CC&Rs to address common ownership issues. Oh, let's see, sorry, I'll back up. The purpose of this request is to divide the existing building to allow for separate sale of the existing units. The existing structure meets all code requirements. The applicant has provided CC&Rs to address common ownership issues. The proposal meets the requirements of 611A above. A request for review and comment was sent to the utility suppliers, affected districts and agencies, and the following comments were received. I won't necessarily read through all of those, and if you have any questions on that, feel free to ask, but you can choose to approve the minor subdivision. The council can deny the minor subdivision and state their reasons. The council can ask for more information and table the application, or the council can approve the minor subdivision and state any conditions they feel would be necessary to ensure compliance with the land use code. Staff recommends alternative 4 above, approval of the amended plat with 2 conditions. If council so chooses to follow the recommendation of staff, the commission can make the motion to approve the minor subdivision as submitted by the owner through council resolutions number 20, series 2022, with the following conditions. All requirements of utility providers, city departments, CDOT, and affected districts must be satisfied as outlined in the adopted city codes and other regulatory documents. The plat shall be recorded at the Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder's Office within 6 months of council.
Do any council members have questions? Okay, because I do, before we motion. Okay. So some of the comments were, one, obviously it does need to be readdressed. And then there's a question about off-street parking. Is one parking spot, because it looks like the southern townhome only has 1 parking spot while the northern one has 3. Is that sufficient for our land use code?
Actually, Mayor, if you, and I did provide you with a printed copy, and I have some more printed copies here, but the plat is also up on the screen. There is actually adequate parking for both townhomes.
Okay, I see carports.
Yeah, you can see it there. So yes, there is adequate. We are satisfied with that requirement.
Okay. Do they share trash service or water meters, or is this going to be an easy, clean break?
That is a good question. They will have to comply with all of those codes as far as getting a new water tap, and getting their own trash service.
Okay. Let's see. And then, do you know the sanitation district was, wanted to make sure that an agreement signed by the current owners was recorded with the county? Do we know if that's been done?
That would be a condition of allowing this to go through.
Okay, so all those would be, all my concerns would be included in these conditions that are already stated?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And then if anyone wants to see the plat or a copy here. All right, those are all my questions. Thank you, Rachel. If council doesn't have any more, do we have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the minor subdivision as submitted by the owner through Council Resolutions number 20, Series 2022, with the 2 recommended conditions.
Second.
All right, motion was made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by Rainey. Linda?
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to 7C, fireworks display permit for the 4th of July and the Pinot Bean golf tournament. Presenter Linda Smith, City Clerk.
Good evening, City Council. Included in your packet is some information regarding the fireworks request. As per section 11-4 of our Cortez City Code, the fire department or its authorized agent shall have the power to grant permits within the city for supervised public displays of fireworks by the city. Included in the packet is the request from the fire department and also signed by the chief, Jay Balfour. A copy of their insurance certificate is also included in the council packet for your review. The fireworks would be for the 4th of July in Parque de Vida and also on August 20th, 22 at the Conquistador Golf Course for the Pinto Bean Golf Tournament. I do think there is a representative from the fire department. If you have any questions, that's here in the audience tonight.
All right, do we have any questions? I guess I'd like to make a comment just to encourage the public that, the county is in a fire ban. We obviously are in the middle of a drought. And I strongly discourage personal fireworks. We will have the fireworks display on the 4th of July, which is a safe event, a family-friendly event, a great event for our community. And I beg the public to keep their fireworks display to that and not start any forest fires. So, thank you. All right, do we have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve the fireworks display permits from the Cortez Fire Protection District for outdoor firework displays on July 4th in Parque de Vida and on August 20th, 2022 at Conquistador Golf Course for the Pinto Bean Golf Tournament.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember DeHaven and seconded by Kiefhoffer. Linda?
Spruill.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Cortez Fire. Okay, we'll move on to 7E, Resolution 17, Series 2022, presented by Matt Kashner, Human Resources Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council again. I'm here tonight to talk to you about the Juneteenth holiday. I recently have learned that it is recognized both federally and by the state of Colorado. However, the city does not currently observe this holiday. I did research and found there are a large number of Colorado municipalities that are observing this holiday. As an indicator of our organizational values, I believe it's reasonable and prudent that the city of Cortez does observe this holiday. And it's also a great way to demonstrate appreciation for our employees and hopefully will help us attract and retain employees in this tough labor market. So it's my recommendation to humbly ask for your approval tonight.
Any questions or comments? I think that's great and definitely an added benefit for our city employees. And that would be this coming Monday, they'd have the holiday off if we approve.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 17, Series 2022, to alter city policy and recognize the state and federal holiday known as Juneteenth, June 19th, for the city of Cortez.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember DeHaven and seconded by Rainey. Linda?
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Spruill.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll move on to 7F, adoption of the 2022 updated financial policies. Kelly Koski, Finance Director.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and esteemed council members. I bring before you this evening the updated 22 financial policies. Just want to say this project probably would not have been possible without all of the really, really hard work of my finance staff, especially Miss Sarah Coffey and Miss Lynette Reese. They really put in a lot of extra time to make this happen. And I just want to give a big thank you to both of them publicly so they know they are appreciated and it was a job well done. So we started out with two different policies. We had an investment policy and we had a financial policy. So we combined both of those into one document, thus 22 updated financial policies, plural. We went through the policy that we had currently. We made changes so that it did reflect all of the GASB and GAAP pronouncements that had happened from the time period when the previous policy had been passed. We then sent that to our audit team, Andrew Went, who is our lead auditor, also caringly known as Drew 2 by the finance team. He and his staff reviewed the policy. They had two minor changes that they wanted made. It was mostly just technical terminology that was in the policy that they felt we needed to tweak just a little bit. So it has been blessed by the audit firm. And I feel like this policy, even though it may not seem like it's a huge, big 400-page document, the audit firm and I believe that in order to have policies that are effective, they need to be concise and clear enough that people can follow those. I think if you try to make a policy into some huge, big document, that just leads to even more confusion, and people have an even harder time knowing what they're supposed to do and trying to figure out what does a policy actually say. So I present to you the completed document of the updated 22 financial policies and just ask if anyone has any questions.
Do any other council members have questions before I dive into mine? Okay. I had a question on section 2A. It says independent audit. It doesn't give like a timeline saying like that an audit happens every year. And I was just curious if that's something that needs to be added in or specified, that like the word annually, I guess.
So I believe if you look at that paragraph,
Oh,
the very first
annual.
paragraph, it actually says, experienced in municipal accounting will annually perform a financial and compliance audit.
Okay,
So
sorry.
it does state that.
Thank you. And then, I guess my other just general question under budgeting, do we need to make a statement on dates or date ranges when the budget is due and must be approved by council?
You know, I don't think we necessarily need to do that, and I think in some ways that actually constrains us.
Okay.
I know prior to my term, the budgets hadn't actually been approved until almost the end of the year in December. We were able to get those approved by the end of October last year. I felt like it was a really efficient process. I know in the future, we may have some additional time constraints and some additional considerations and discussions as we move forward. There may be some difficult budget decisions that need to be made. So I think not having a specific deadline gives us that flexibility to complete it early if we do have the opportunity to do so.
Mayor, if I can just jump in here on the timeline for the budget, it's actually spelled out in detail in the charter, and we
Okay.
follow that exactly.
Okay. And then is this a document that's shared with all department heads as well as finance staff?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, and we can share this document with anyone that would like a copy of it. I'd be happy to send that to anyone for any other questions, comments, etc.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
My one other question was, and it maybe is more for the full audience than just for the council, but can you explain the city's conflict of interest policy a little bit as part of this, and how we make sure that staff isn't using any conflict in decisions they're making?
Well, I think that not only is covered in our financial policy, but it's also covered in our HR policy, and Matt might be able to speak to that a little more specifically. But in our financial policy, I mean, your standard is basically that you should not have employees that are going to be able to benefit financially for transactions that they can supervise or approve on their own.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to you and the finance team for all the hard work that you guys put into this.
Thank you. I will relay that to the team.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelly.
All right.
All right, do we have a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to adopt the 2022 updated financial policies.
Second.
All right, a motion made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by DeHaven. Linda?
Spruill.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, thank you. We'll move on to 7G, which is resolution number 18, series 2022. Presenter Drew Sanders, City Manager.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. I've approached you in the past at a former workshop session, and then also sent this out informally by email in the past. It is a formal set of protocols that helps us accomplish about 3 different things here, which one of them would be adhering closely to open meetings laws, helping to maintain an effective communication and organizational efficiency, and also provide a convenient reference document that can also serve as a quasi-policy manual for council members. So I recommend that this be formally adopted by the council for our governance.
Any questions before I ask one? Okay, so in the future, how will this be, I guess, shared with future council members?
Future council members?
Yeah, I'm just thinking like how we want to make, have this front and center as a guiding document for all, council members.
Right. As we onboard new council members, just like the onboarding documents that our city clerk already provides, it'll be part of that.
Okay.
And then the plan is, should this be formally adopted by council, that we'll put together kind of a manual form for you for your reference.
Great, thank you. Any questions from council, or would someone like to make a motion?
I move to approve Resolution 18, Series 2022, to adopt council protocols as presented and attached as the exhibit number 1 on the resolution.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Spruill and seconded by Yazzie. Linda?
Rainey.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Spruill.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, thank you. So we'll move on to 7H, resolution number 21, series 2022. Presenter Drew Sanders, City Manager.
Sorry, my internet went down. apologize, Mayor. There we go. All right. Thank you. What's that? No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Mayor and Council, what this is about is State Initiative 63 and a resolution here that we've got in place that does nothing more than request that we put this item on the ballot and put it before voters. So really, it's a means, or proposed means, to perhaps alter how some money goes into the state and how that would come back as compensation for teachers and so on. We feel like this is important to put before the voters and give them a chance to weigh in. I think in this community, there's plenty of support for teachers and recognition that we need to do a little bit more and probably need some sort of tax help, whether we support it or not. And I'm not coming out and saying we are in favor or not. I am presenting it to council and saying that we recommend that you vote in favor of this resolution so it can be put before the voters.
I'd like to read the resolution just for the public, if that's all right.
If you, yeah, you're all right, which it's your preference.
Just so they have an idea of what our resolution states. So resolution number 21, series 2022, a resolution in support of placing initiative number 63 on the November 2022 ballot. Whereas the city of Cortez believes every student should have the opportunity to reach his or her full potential and to participate meaningfully in the civic and economic life of the community. And whereas every student deserves access to inspiring teachers, rigorous and inclusive curriculum, individual attention, quality career and technical options, and appropriate mental and physical health resources. And whereas the Board of Education believes that public schools are a cornerstone for democracy, the pillar of thriving communities, the source of prepared workforce, and an engine for economic success here in Montezuma County and the city of Cortez. And whereas great teachers are the foundation of great education, and the RE1 school district is experiencing a persistent teacher shortage crisis. And whereas Colorado's investment in education is lagging behind other states. Colorado has teachers receiving among the least competitive wage in the nation. And whereas reduced funding is directly impacting the district's ability to attract, retain, and compensate teachers and student support professionals while maintaining rigorous and inclusive curriculum, quality career and technical options, and appropriate mental and physical health resources. And whereas initiative number 63, which may appear on the 2022 ballot as a proposition, will provide significant additional funding to the RE1 school district without raising taxes or tax rates by removing these funds from the Tabor limit calculation and directing a portion of this already collected income tax revenue to the constitutionally protected state education fund. And whereas initiative number 63 will require that these funds are used to attract, retain, and compensate teachers and student support professionals. And whereas the city council declares that initiative number 63 is a matter of official concern. So yeah, that's what we're voting on. Does anyone have any questions on council?
Mayor, if I could also add, I have been in contact with Superintendent Burris over this, and he supports our efforts to put it in front of the voters.
Great. And I'd like to thank Councilmember Kiefhofer for bringing this to our attention.
Yes.
All right, do we have a motion?
I motion to approve Resolution 21, Series 2022, in support of placing initiative number 63 on the November 2022 ballot.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember DeHaven and seconded by Rainey. Linda?
Dobry.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Spruill.
Aye.
Kiefhofer.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, item 8, draft resolutions and ordinances. We have none. 9, city attorney's report.
Nothing.
Okay. 10, city manager's report.
Yes, Mayor, I do have a report this evening. Tonight, my report will consist primarily of a quick update on the public work projects that are in progress this summer. They've become rather visible, and I just wanted to update the council on it. First one is the Sligo Street reconstruction. This is near total reconstruction of this roadway. 90% of the existing asphalt has been removed. The first layer of subgrade has been removed and recycled. Proof roll base, and they continue to work on the Class 6 subgrade work. The project is moving along as expected. Next is the Mildred Road water and street project, and this one's about to become rather visible. The last pre-construction meeting is planned for June 15th, actually tomorrow. The project is scheduled to start on June 20th, so next Monday. We totally expect this to be a little more disruptive to the public, but Public Works has worked very hard with our partners to make sure that this is the least intrusive as possible. They've got a lot of plans in place and a lot of moving parts. There will be no total road closure until after the 4th of July, so we have a little bit of respite. But there will be many people affected by this project due to the proximity of the hospital, the state courts, and the sheriff's office. The contractor and the city is working very hard to make sure that we anticipate all the problems that can occur. We know there's going to be some unknowns out there, but we've even got plans in place on how to at least deal with those when they arise. We are asking our community to please be patient with us. We know this one's going to be a little painful, but it has to be done. The avenues of communication are in place. If people do have complaints or run into problems, the construction company has asked that people literally reach out to the on-site supervisor or DLNL Construction directly. And of course, we are always open for questions and comments. So the next one is the concrete cost sharing program. This has started in earnest. Beach and First Street, they've removed and replaced 120 linear feet of curbing and repair the sidewalk sections at the First and Market in front of the Calkins complex. The intersection of Montezuma and Harrison is they're working on the ADA accessible crosswalk, and Public Works has met with the Veterans of Foreign Wars over here at Veterans Park to determine the way ahead for the Veterans Memorial Sidewalk upgrade. If you recall, this actually came before council in a workshop session, I think like last September. So we're now getting to that. And that project should start in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And finally, city painting. You've probably noticed some of that around. They've already started their painting on Main Street and on May 23rd to include parking spots and curbing. Also, they should be finished with the painting on the side streets off of Main Street in another week. And then Harrison and Montezuma crosswalk, once that's completed, they will paint that one up too. So, and in the interest of time tonight, Mayor, we've got an awful lot of business. I didn't do a employee highlight, but I'll expect to do that next time. So, thank you, Mayor, Council.
Thank you. Okay, City Council Committee reports. I'll do the report on the workshop quick, and then I'll ask if any council members have other board reports. All right, for our work session, we had to table the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Board Advisory Board appointment or interview of candidates and for a later date. Then we had a presentation from our HR director on the family and medical insurance, the family, I don't know what to call it. Family Leave Act, okay, thank you. And then we had a board-to-board meeting with our Montezuma County Commissioners and talked about joint projects, the community in general, and talked about potentially meeting on a regular basis, at least twice a year. And then we had general discussion, and I think that's about it for that. So do any council members have board reports?
Yes, I do. Cortez Public Arts Advisory Committee is in the process of establishing a creative district, and also they have discovered a DIY website for training and collaboration with other creative groups. So they're off and running. I'm really pleased with the progress.
Great, thank you, David. Councilmember Sproul?
I went to a golf advisory board meeting, and it was a good meeting. I learned what what they call it, snow fungus was, and they're working on it. They seem to be working on a golf course, making it really nice and pretty. I was a little bit upset with them making fun of my golf game, but other than that, it was a great meeting.
Thank you.
I was very grateful. I was able to step in for Mayor Medina last Saturday, the Saturday before for the Ute Mountain Ute Bear Dance Parade. I filled in as a judge. It was a really amazing experience. I never had the chance to participate or be a part of that event before, but when we arrived, we had like kind of our debrief, or not our debrief, but like instructions we were given, and they also taught us about the fire district there too. So it was just really great to be in community, and there were a lot of really great entries, and it was just a great experience all around, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to attend.
Great. Thank you, Arlena, for attending on my behalf, and I want to thank the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe for thinking of us and including us in their events, and I'd love to build on that partnership. So, any other board? Okay. So then we'll move on to other items agenda. We're going to have an executive session, so I don't blame any of you for sticking around. So this council will adjourn to executive session. Is this the motion I read?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, yeah. I don't have to read it. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn to executive session for 2 items. The first is a conference with Scott Krob, the City of Cortez water attorney, for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS Section 24-6-402-4B. That will be a discussion held on water issues. And the second item is for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiation, developing strategy for negotiation, or instructing negotiators under CRS Section 24-6-4024E. And that discussion will be held on proposed band shell project as well as the broadband system. I need a second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by DeHaven. Linda?
DeHaven.
Aye.
Sproul.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, so we'll break for executive session, but I do want to remind the public, if anyone came after our first public comment section, we do have another public participation place on our agenda after our executive session if you feel like sticking around to make public comment. Otherwise, I encourage you to email us. All right, and if you do make public comment, fill out a card. So, all right, thank you. Okay. The time is now 9:53 p.m. and the executive sessions have been concluded. The participants in the executive sessions were, I really have to name every name? Okay. Councilmember Dennis Sproul, Councilmember David Rainey, City Attorney Mike Green, Parks Director Creighton Wright, City Manager Drew Sanders, Mayor Pro Tem Marlena Yazzie, Water Engineer Doug Clements, sorry. Water Attorney Scott Krob, right? Okay. Councilmember Robert Dobry, Councilmember Matt Kiefhofer, Public Works Director Brian Peckins, and Councilmember Lydia DeHaven, and myself, Rachel Medina. For the record, any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into the executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during this executive session in violation of the open meetings law. I would ask that you state your concerns for the record. All right, seeing none, we will move on to the next agenda item.
Before we move on, I'd like to make a motion. I move to authorize the city manager to negotiate an agreement with Montezuma Valley Irrigation, MVI, to use the city 4.2 CFS senior ditch rights.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by Pro Tem Yazzie.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Sproul.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Kiefhofer.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. Okay, so we'll move on to our last agenda item is our second round of public participation. There's no limit to the number of speakers and no overall time limit in general, but speakers do have a limit of 3 minutes per person, may only speak once, and may not cede time to another commenter. All right, I invite Lynette Ward to our podium, and please make sure your microphone is on, that it's green at the bottom. And state your name and address.
My name is Lynette Ward. I live over on Aspen Drive in Cortez. I'm here today to ask you guys to rethink this drag queen thing. It's a wonderful idea, but I did some research on the proposed performers, and as a parent, this breaks my heart. What they're not telling you is Jake Riggs, AKA, are you a prettier one? If you just go to her Facebook, take a look at what she does on a daily basis. Cannabis, sex, more sex, spicy sex, sex and cannabis, it's 420, weed got style, suffix of Satan. You go to that website, it makes you sick at your stomach. They also endorse Psychedelic Club of Durango. This man, or drag queen, I'm not sure, they, okay? He believes in reading in drag to the children about sugar daddies. Their podcast, let's talk about legal. I regret the day I went into that podcast because it was sickening. It made me physically ill. Then we also post animals. Have you ever used a fish for sex toys? This is what they're installing in our children. The drag queen himself, number one, post all kinds of lavish drinking, drugs. We ask ourselves here in the community, why does our kids have such a drug problem? Maybe we should look at the entertainers that we're hiring. You want to do something special for these kids? Do it. But make sure they're safe. Make sure this is not what they're being exposed to. Many of you are parents, and I have
30 seconds.
I want you to ask yourself, do you want your child having sex with animals? Using animals for sex toys? And then having a person come for 2 minutes or 30 minutes out of the day, whether it's digitally or personally, and trying to act normal in front of your child? What other dangers does this bring to our community if they're doing these things? It's not that we're mad that you're doing something for these kids. It's that we're upset because this is not good for our children. And then we have people telling them ideologies like they're going to commit suicide.
All right, thank you for your comment, Lynette, and thanks for sticking around. All right, any more public commenters? All right, I will close the public comment session, and I will ask for a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Mayor Rachel, you have a email to read for the record.
Oh, yes, thank you for reminding me, I apologize. Okay, I have an email I want to add to the public record for public comment. This is from Rosie Carter, who lives on Carpenter Street. Dear esteemed city councilors and city manager, I recently learned a Pride Month event to be held at the Cortez Public Library was canceled due to threats. This is alarming to me as there are other incidents of public intimidation that unfortunately seem to have become a regular occurrence in our town. I feel confident that those who are using these bullying tactics do not represent the majority of Cortez citizens, but they certainly have an outsized impact as the library event cancellation makes clear. I resent the situation of a group having the power to represent our community because of the impact of their threats. I'm also very concerned about the situation because I believe our town is better than that and deserves better than that. I would like to go on record as a Cortez resident and taxpayer that I support diversity in our community. I support LGBTQ2S+ folks in general and their wishes to celebrate Pride Month. I support taxpayer money being spent on events that diversify our community and support underrepresented groups. And I do not support decision-making at the city level that's based on threats or intimidation. Everyone belongs in Cortez, and I believe our leaders should make this priority in all decisions. Thank you for your service to your city. Sincerely, Rosie Carter. All right. Okay, then I will end public comment with that and ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, unless we want to be here all night.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by DeHaven. I didn't hear who else. Okay.
Kiefhoffer. Aye. Rainey.
Aye.
Spruill.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
DeHaven. Aye. Medina.
Aye. All right, thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for your time and dedication.